Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to one more live English lesson. I am Leonardo Leite, and welcome once again to the VIP English course by Mairo Vergara. I am not Mairo Vergara. You can see that I am Leonardo Leite. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody. So, now before we start, can you all hear me well? The most important thing is that you can hear me. If you can hear me, great. The video, I don't know. Okay, right now I am broadcasting through a standard definition, not high quality. As I've seen, loud and clear. All right, great. Sound okay. Let me move this a little bit. Let me move this camera here a little bit. Okay. All right, good. No, let me hide the computer here a little bit. Okay, there you go. Okay, some people say, well, Renato is saying, for me, everything is black. Uma dica. Uma dica. Se vocês estiverem assistindo, bom, vocês estão assistindo através do YouTube. Se estiver aí, para alguns tá, okay, guys, welcome to the internet, okay? This is a very sophisticated English class, and it takes a lot of technology. And sometimes technology is just like a dirt road. Sabe o que é uma dirt road? Às vezes é como se fosse uma estrada de terra. Às vezes fica lisinha, às vezes tem buraco, às vezes ela é asfaltada. All right, good. Sound is low here. Isso. A Vitória Bernal aí está dizendo, Renato, experimente atualizar a página. Isso pode resolver. Toda vez que começar a dar algum tipo de pau, renove a página do YouTube aí. Ok? Muito bem. O som, a Aninha, Ana Luísa, a nossa moderadora, tinha até reclamado anteriormente que o som está baixo. Então, eu vou fazer uma operação de altíssimo risco. Eu vou trocar a bateria do meu telefone, do meu microfone de lapela no ar. Vocês deixam fazer isso antes da gente começar? Ok, good. Então, vamos fazer isso agora. Eu vou desligar o microfone aqui. Vai ficar um pouco mudo. Não se preocupe, daqui a pouco ele volta, ok? All right, good. Now you tell me if the sound improved a little bit. Can you all hear me fine? I just did a very risky operation live here. All right, Aninha. Okay, great. I am happy. Guys, one more time, welcome. Are you all ready for this class? Before, much better. Okay, good. Good. Yes. All right. All right. That was the problem. This was the problem. Okay? Much better now. All right, good. Good. Thank God. Thank God. Guys, one more time, welcome to this live class. And before we get started, I would like to show you something that I have been preparing. And we are going to prepare some very, very cool stuff for you. O que eu vou testar com vocês hoje é o seguinte. I am going to introduce to you our moderator. our administrator of the portal VIP English Club by Mayro Vergara, and her name is Ana Luisa Alckmin. Let's talk to her a little bit. Ana, hop on. Olha a Ana aí, galera!
Olá! E aí, pessoal?
Olha que legal. Agora é o seguinte, dá para vocês verem os dois aqui. Uhul! And you know what? Eu achei interessante apresentar a Ana Luisa para vocês, porque ela é a guardiã e protetora das boas maneiras dentro do portal VIP English Classes, right? So everybody say hello to Anna. If you want to ask...
Hello, guys.
Hey, Anna, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Great. So, are you going to take care of these students now?
Of course.
All right. So, anything they need, you are going to help them.
Yes, I am.
All right, good. Good. So, guys, esta é uma experiência que a gente vai fazer com a amostra de diálogos. Nós vamos poder fazer diálogos aqui. Nós vamos poder fazer aqueles treinamentos e você observar como que um aluno, você, no caso, pode treinar com as Magic Stories. Alright? Oh, você está fazendo sucesso, hein, Ana? Alright, olha lá. Okay, guys. This lady is very important for the health of our broadcast and English class here. All right. Ana, is everything set?
Yes, that's all okay.
Good. Então manda um beijo para a galera aí, dá o seu recado and let's get going.
Pessoal, vocês precisando de mim, só escrever ali no chat. Eu tô aqui.
All right, guys. É isso. Então tô mostrando para vocês como é que a gente ainda pode modernizar essas nossas lessons aqui. All right, Aninha, thank you so much. Stick around and we'll talk soon.
Valeu, Léo.
Okay, guys. Let's do this. All right. Nice, isn't it? Very nice. Okay, good. Bom, Aninha, qualquer dúvida, você já sabe, né? Avisa aí o pessoal para eles reload the page caso tenha algum probleminha. All right? Good. So let's get going. In the previous lesson, last week, we had our second magic story. Let me get this out of here. I don't need this right now. So, we had our second magic story in which we talked about Jeremy. Minha pergunta para você é: você praticou essas duas últimas aulas com as duas stories about Jeremy? A primeira, a gente aprende sobre o Jeremy. A segunda, uma determinada circunstância da vida do Jeremy. These two magic stories must be inside your head. Okay? It must be inside your head. Essa história, você já deve saber essa história de cor e salteado, não exatamente de cor com as palavrinhas certinhas, but the situation, right? Where Jeremy lives, what kind of boy he is, right? What he usually does in the morning before he goes to school, and what does he usually do at school and after school, right? What are his hobbies? What's his favorite thing in the world? Remember that? E na segunda, about what he's about to do. What is he going to do? Right? Então, na primeira story, a gente pratica muito o present. E na segunda história, a gente pratica muito o future, right? He's going to get his license. he's buying a car, right? Because usually his sister picks him up at school, right? And after practice, after basketball practice. And but now he's going to buy a car. So this, okay, this has to be inside your head. Tem que estar impregnado na sua cabeça essa historinha. Por quê? Porque a compreensão do tópico dentro do qual você vai falar, fazer perguntas, responder perguntas, é a menor das suas preocupações. Você não vai se preocupar com a compreensão do tópico, porque o tópico is very, very simple. Então, a sua preocupação vai ser o training. Training your ears and training your mouth. Training your listening, training your speaking. It's typical training. Tem muito pouco que você pode observar nessas aulas que eu tenho dado para você. Você pode observar que nós praticamos muito mais do que aprendemos. Olha que louco. Só que, obviamente, quando a gente pratica muito, o aprendizado se dá de uma forma muito mais verdadeira. Então, não assista essas aulas, não faça essas aulas passivamente. Não fique assim na frente do computador ou na frente da tela. Ah, ok, entendi. Because it's not gonna work for you. You have to participate. And you have to participate by yourself, talking to me. So that's why you have all the downloadable material that you can download. For example, the audios. You can download the audio. And you can take this audio to wherever you want. You can take this audio to wherever you want and practice. You don't need to look at me in the computer. You don't need to do that. Okay? All you gotta do is listen and respond. Listen and respond. Right? Escrevam aí no chat. Quem é que já completou o Magic Story 1, about Jeremy, e o Magic Story 2, chamado Driver's License? Escrevam aí no chat e me diga se você passou por essas lições. Por quê? Porque o que a gente vai praticar agora é muito importante que essas duas histórias estejam in your head. All right? And probably for a long time, you're going to be able to talk about Jeremy. And the interesting thing about this is that as you were practicing with the lesson, always try to readapt that story, readapt that training to your own reality. Talk about you, where you live, what you're going to do, your plans for the future. Right? Try to do that. And today, we're going to practice the first part about Jeremy, but we are going to practice in a different time, in a different point of view. Okay? So that's why I said verb tense practice. We are going to switch the verb tense. We're going to transport Jeremy's story to 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And it's very important que este 10 years ago a gente exagere nele, ok? Então, a prática, o treino é exagerado mesmo. Estou dando esse aviso, porque na hora que a gente começar a treinar, I am going to emphasize the time all the time. Why? Because I want to make your mind understand that it is a different situation. It is a different perspective. Então, quando a sua cabeça percebe que há uma mudança de circunstância naquela história que você está praticando, é importante que a sua mente lembre que
há necessidade da mudança de tempo verbal. E essa prática, nas aulas tradicionais e tudo, ela não é colocada. Então, na hora que o professor vai ensinar, por exemplo, nós vamos aprender hoje o past simple. Então, nós vamos agora aprender os verbos no passado. Aquilo dali não conecta com você. Você aprende aquilo passivamente, mas você não conecta. Então, o que nós vamos fazer hoje? Nós vamos pegar uma história com a qual você já está conectado ou conectada, que você já consegue conversar sobre ela, answering questions, asking questions, right? Let me show you the story here. Here it is. And the story is here. Okay? So this is the original story, right? So you have to be very, very acquainted to this story, very familiar. This story must be familiar for you, ok? Você tem que estar bem familiarizado com esta história. Não tem problema se você não lembrar a word here, a phrase there. Não tem problema se na hora de você falar sobre o Jeremy, na questão dessa história aqui, não tem problema, mas se alguém te fizer uma pergunta, você será capaz de responder yes or no, ou simplesmente, for example, where does Jeremy live? Where does he live? Does he live in New York? Você vai lembrar logo, no, it's not New York. It's not New York. So where does he live? I don't know, a place in Washington State. Yes, Washington State. Aí você pode ir lá colar. Oh, Des Moines, Washington, right? And so on. So, what I'm going to show you here now, and let me turn on the chat here so I can follow the chat here. Ok. Então, para aqueles que chegaram atrasados, perderam a explicação, let's get straight to the point. Okay, good. So this is the story, right? Jeremy is a boy. I'm going to talk through the story, okay? Jeremy is a boy who lives in Des Moines. He's 16, and he lives in a nice house with his family. He has a brother, and he has also a sister. Their names, Josh and Amanda. How old are they? Josh is 21, and Amanda is 18. What about his parents, mother and father? They are Steve and Anna. What do they do? Well, Steve is an entrepreneur, and Anna is a yoga instructor. Well, and the name of this family, right? Mother, father, and 3 kids, they are the Thompsons. And they live in a house very close to the sea. Des Moines is a small town, very close to the sea. There's a marina. There's a beautiful marina in this city. Anyway, he goes to Mount Rainier High School. It's a big high school in Des Moines. And Jeremy, what does Jeremy like doing? What does he love? Well, he loves basketball, right? And actually, to tell you the truth, he practices, right? He practices every day in the school JV basketball team, right? It's the second team, not the first. Well, he likes going to the movies. He likes riding his bike around town and playing the guitar. But you know what? His favorite thing in the world is ice cream. Now, I don't know why, but it is, okay? Jeremy can have ice cream even in the freezing winter, okay? And a little bit about his daily routine in the morning. Every day, he gets up at 6, gets dressed, and he has some breakfast. And then he takes the school bus, the yellow bus. The school starts at 7:10. He stays there at school until 5 because he has basketball practice. And every day at 5:15, his sister picks him up at school and they go home. So it's a very simple story. But now, my dear friends, we are going to project this story to 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So here it is. We are going to transform this story into a story in the past. Now, let me tell you about this a little bit. Okay? And all right, here it is. What you're going to see, você vai ver as transformações that I'm going to do. And then I'll explain to you why que tem que ser daquele jeito. Por que que deve ser daquele jeito. All right? So, your job is to always, you're going to try to imagine 10 years ago. Então, hoje, Jeremy is 26 because 10 years ago, he was 16. Okay, then he was 16. So now, let me show you here in the story, this part here. Okay? Now, you are going to see this story in the present, mas você vai ouvir eu te contando essa história in the past. E aqui em cima, você vai ver todas as transformações. Mas primeiro, eu quero que você olhe para a historinha e me escute fazendo as transformações. Em alguns momentos, eu não vou copiar do jeitinho que está na história. Eu vou contar essa história about Jeremy 10 years ago. So, going through the tunnel of time, going back to the past, not back to the future, okay? Back to the past, and imagine 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, Jeremy was a boy, right? And he was 16 years old. 10 years ago, Jeremy lived in Des Moines, Washington. And 10 years ago, he lived in a nice house with his family, right? Well, he still has a brother and still has a sister after 10 years, okay? Good. So, 10 years ago, this is important. 10 years ago, again, 10 years ago, Steve, Jeremy's father, was an entrepreneur. I'm not sure if today, 10 years later, he still is. I don't know, but I remember that 10 years ago, he was an entrepreneur. And 10 years ago, Anna, Jeremy's mother, was a yoga instructor. I don't know if today they are retired or they do something else, but I remember that 10 years ago, Steve was an entrepreneur and Anna was a yoga instructor. Okay? And 10 years ago, they lived in a house very close to the sea. Okay? 10 years ago, Jeremy was a student. He was a student, right? Today, he's not. He's 26. Maybe he's a university student, but back then, 10 years ago, he was a high school student, right? And 10 years ago, he went to Mount Rainier High School in Des Moines. 10 years ago, he was a sophomore. Well, 10 years ago, Jeremy loved basketball. And you know what? 10 years ago, he practiced in the school JV basketball team. 10 years ago, Jeremy liked going to the movies. 10 years ago, he loved riding his bike around town. And 10 years ago, Jeremy liked playing the guitar. Pay attention. I said liked, okay? And 10 years ago, his favorite thing in the world was ice cream. Well, 10 years ago, Jeremy was a typical teenager. Now, that is the part, that's the interesting part. Okay? 10 years ago, we are in 2012, okay? 2012, back in 2012, Jeremy used to get up at 6. He used to get up at 6 every day 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, he used to get up. He used to get up at 6. Well, he used to get dressed at the same time, and he used to have breakfast, and he used to take the yellow bus. 10 years ago, Jeremy used to take the school bus to school. 10 years ago. Now he drives. But 10 years ago, Jeremy used to take the school bus to school, right? And at 10 years ago, school used to start at 7:10. I don't know what happens now, but school 10 years ago, Jeremy's school 10 years ago, used to start at 7:10 or started at 7:10. That's okay. And 10 years ago, Jeremy used to stay at school until 5. You know why? Because 10 years ago, he used to have basketball practice at school. But now he doesn't anymore. But 10 years ago, he used to have basketball practice. And you know what? Every day, 10 years ago, his sister used to pick him up at school to go home, right? So his sister used to pick him up at school. So now, take a look at this. 10 years ago, Jeremy was a boy who lived in Des Moines, Washington. 10 years ago, Jeremy, was 16, and he lived in a nice house with his family. 10 years ago, the Thompsons, right, the Thompson family, lived in a house close to the sea. 10 years ago, Jeremy was a student. 10 years ago. Por que eu estou insistindo no 10 years ago? Because your mind must remember that it is in the past. Okay? So 10 years ago, he went to Mount Rainier High School in Des Moines. And 10 years ago, he was a sophomore at school. Okay? 10 years ago, Jeremy loved basketball. Actually, 10 years ago, he practiced in the school JV basketball team. 10 years ago, Jeremy liked going to the movies. 10 years ago, he liked riding his bike around town. 10 years ago, Jeremy liked playing the guitar. 10 years ago, Jeremy's favorite thing in the world was ice cream. And 10 years ago, he was a typical teenager. Now, 10 years ago, Jeremy used to get up at 6. 10 years ago, school started at 7:10, or school used to start at 7:10. Okay? 10 years ago, Jeremy used to stay at school until 5. And because, you know why? Because 10 years ago, he used to have basketball practice. He used to stay at school, and he used to have basketball practice. Right? And finally, 10 years ago, Jeremy's sister used to pick him up at school, and they went home. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Você encontrou alguma coisa que te confundiu? That is my question to you. Você enxergou aqui na transformação alguma coisa que te confundiu? Let's see. Normalmente, what confuses people here? Porque quando a gente faz essa transformação, a tendência nossa, como aluno, é sair transformando tudo in the simple past, right? Só que aqui existem 3 tipos de frase. The first one, Jeremy was a boy who lived in Des Moines, Washington, right? É porque Jeremy is. He was 16. Depois a gente usa uma outra forma, que é o past simple de um verbo regular normal. Lived. Depois a gente usa the past simple of an irregular verb. Went. E a gente seguiu aqui, ó. Was, loved, liked. And pay attention to the pronunciation. All right? Pay attention to the pronunciation. Loved, liked, liked, loved, lived. Então, tanto o lived quanto o loved, o som final é de D. E no liked, aqui, o som final é de T. Só que quando a gente chega aqui e mostra 10 years ago, Jeremy used to get up at 6. Quando eu aprendi isso, eu fiquei confuso. And I thought to myself, why not 10 years ago, Jeremy got up at 6? And 10 years ago, Jeremy stayed at school until 5. Por quê? Deixa eu ver se... Ah, boa, ninguém ficou confuso. Great. Because esse get up at 6 aqui era algo que acontecia todos os dias, porém, at 10 years ago. 10 anos atrás, isto era uma coisa que acontecia repetidamente, periodicamente. Tanto o get up, aqui no started, eu coloquei started aqui, it's okay, mas também pode ser school used to start at 7:10. Why? Because isso aqui acontecia todos os dias há 10 anos atrás. And the same thing, used to stay at school until 5 every day. However, 10 years ago. Então, o que nós estamos aprendendo aqui são 3 jeitos de usar o passado, né? O com o verbo to be, o com o verbo normal e quando era um hábito, quando você está falando sobre um hábito. Alright? Então, eu não vou entrar muito na construção gramatical e o porquê do gramatical, mas toda vez que você encontrar escutar alguém falando assim, I used to go, I used to be, é o nosso era, eu fazia, é tudo aquilo que era e não é mais. Então, você pega o used to go, used to be, used to get, used to stay, right? Good. Let me check. Yeah, people are helping here. All right, good, good. So now, it's your turn. Agora eu vou fazer a question, fazer a mesma coisa do Magic Story. However, you are going to answer the questions in the past. 10 years ago, was Jeremy a student? Yes or no? Yes, he was. Jeremy was a student. And how old was Jeremy 10 years ago? Well, 16, because today he's 26, right? Well, 10 years ago, where did the family live? Where did the Thompson family live? Now, pay attention to the question. Where did they live? Answer, in a house close to the sea, in Des Moines, in a nice house, in a beautiful house. No problem. Now, what school did Jeremy go 10 years ago? Mount Rainier High School. All right. Now, what grade was Jeremy in? What grade was he in? He was a sophomore. Very good. Very good. What sports did Jeremy like 10 years ago? So now pay attention to the questions. All right, pay attention to the question. Okay? What sports did Jeremy like? Did Jeremy like? Right? Why am I asking you this? Porque aqui embaixo, quando você for baixar, você vai ver a transformação aqui e você vai criar a sua pergunta aqui, baseado nessa historinha que eu vou fazer a pergunta para você. All right? Good. So let's move on. What school did he go to? He went to Mount Rainier High School. All right. Did Jeremy practice in the basketball team 10 years ago? Yes, he did. Or, yes, he practiced in the basketball team 10 years ago. É importante falar JV, basketball team? No, it's not important. All you got to remember is that he practiced in the basketball team at school, right? Now, what did Jeremy like doing when he was 16? What did he enjoy doing when he was 16? What did he like doing 10 years ago? 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, he liked going to the movies. Question, did he like riding his bike around town? Yes, he did. Did he like riding his motorcycle around town? No, he didn't. He liked riding his bike around town. Is that clear? Did he like playing the guitar? Yes, he did. Did he like playing the saxophone? No, he didn't. So what instrument did Jeremy like playing when he was 16? See the question? What instrument did Jeremy like playing 10 years ago? The guitar. That's it. Now, what was Jeremy's favorite thing in the world when he was 16? Ice cream. What was his favorite thing in the world 10 years ago? His favorite thing in the world 10 years ago was ice cream. Right? Good. Let's move on. What kind of boy was Jeremy 10 years ago? A nice boy. Okay. A good boy. No problem. A basketball player boy. No problem. He was a typical teenager. No problem. So 10 years ago, Jeremy was a typical teenager. Liked playing the guitar, loved basketball, practiced basketball at school. He liked riding his bicycle around town. A typical teenager, right? Good. Now, let's talk about his habits 10 years ago. What time did Jeremy used to get up when he was 16? What time did he used to get up? He used to get up at 6. Did Jeremy used to get up at 10 when he was 16 years old? Did Jeremy used to get up at 10 about 10 years ago? No, he didn't. So what time did he used to get up? At 6. Good. Now, what time did school used to start? Or what time did school start? 10 years ago. I am not going into details here, mas eu só dei essas duas alternativas por causa do verbo start. Ok? That's all because of the verb start. Todos os outros verbos quando você usa in the past simple, eles são pontuais. Eles não indicam um hábito no passado. Eles indicam uma coisa pontual. Por isso que é tão importante. You define when he was 16. When he was 16, he loved basketball. Okay? Or he loved basketball. Jeremy loved basketball when he was a teenager. Okay? So it's in the point, to the point, and once. Now, what time did school or what time did Jeremy used to get up in the morning when he was a teenager? At 6. Does he get up at 6 today? Maybe not. Maybe he gets up at 10 nowadays. He's 26. He lives by himself, right? So he gets up at whenever he wants. But 10 years ago, he used to get up at 6 because he had to go to school. And school started at 7:10. Do you understand how simple this is? And the number of opportunities that you have to practice your speaking just by using the story about Jeremy. It's amazing. You can talk a lot about this practicing, right? And who used to pick him up at school about 10 years ago? His sister. His sister used to pick him up at school. Did Jeremy used to drive home after school? No, he didn't. So how did he used to get home? How did he used to get home? How did he used to get home after basketball practice? His sister used to pick him up. His sister used to pick him up at school. Right? Questions. Okay. Let me answer some questions here. Ele fazia todo dia, mas no passado. Yes. Algo como costumava. Sim, só que qual que é o problema? Eu sabia que ia aparecer isso. So, what's the problem here? O problema é que a gente, com a nossa mente falante de português, a gente sempre exige que cada palavra que nós mencionamos em inglês exista uma para substituí-la em português. E não é assim que funciona, ok? E used to não é sempre costumava. Sim, você está dizendo sobre uma coisa que era costumeira no passado. Mas, por exemplo, e eu vou dar esse exemplo aqui agora, para você ver. Ok? Look at this. I used to be stronger in the past. Now, I'm a little weak. I'm a little weak. I used to be stronger in the past. Now I'm a little weak. Tá vendo que quando a gente usa, isso aqui era uma coisa que era permanente no passado. Então, I used to be stronger in the past. Ok? Você não vai dizer que eu costumava ser mais forte. Eu era. Alright? Eu era. Outra aqui, ó. Essa aqui é uma letra da música do Guns N' Roses. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. I used to love her, ooh, yeah, but I had to kill her. Remember that song? Ele não está dizendo eu costumava amá-la, mas eu tive que matá-la. Ok? Fica até engraçado, né? Eu costumava amá-la, mas eu tive que matá-la. Right? Não, eu a amava, mas eu tive que matá-la. Não é eu costumava amá-la. Alright? Então, perca o costume de tentar imaginar uma palavra correspondente, de uma palavra em português correspondente a uma em inglês, só para poder justificar a sua ansiedade. Ok? Então é o seguinte, I used to be, eu era. Jeremy, vamos voltar aqui. Jeremy used to get up at 6. Jeremy used to get up at 6. Ele acordava. Ok? Não precisava dizer ele costumava acordar só porque tem um used to. Ok? Alright? Tem várias outras aplicações, por exemplo, Leo, do you teach in a classroom? Do you teach in a classroom? Eu posso responder, no, but I used to. Right? I don't teach in a classroom anymore, but in the past, 10 years ago, I used to. All right? Ou seja, eu ensinava, eu dava aula. Right? So this is very important. E aí que está o segredinho, nessa transformação. Então, toda vez que você for contar uma história in the past, tudo que for uma coisa que era costumeira ou permanente naquela época, you say used to. Right? Okay, great. So now, my dear friend, I am going to ask you questions. Então, agora é o seguinte. Nesse exercício aqui, você tem as principais frases. Jeremy's a boy, he's 16, he lives in a nice house. Aqui tem o 10 years ago, e eu fiz questão de enfatizar o 10 years ago. And here you are going to ask questions. E na primeira que eu botei, ó, was Jeremy a boy 10 years ago? Did Jeremy live in Des Moines 10 years ago? Esqueci aqui, ó. 10 years ago. Ok? Como é que você vai fazer esse exercício? Muito simples. Nós vamos voltar aqui. Ok? Ah, então vamos ver essa pergunta aqui. Ah, Priscila está perguntando. Posso dizer, tanto he was stronger in the past and he used to be stronger in the past? No problem. It's completely understandable. All right? Quando você colocar I used to be, okay, I used to be, fica claro que era algo mais permanente. Mas no caso do verb to be, no problem. No problem. Alguns verbos não vão fazer diferença. Ok? No caso, por exemplo, do teach, Léo, do you teach in a classroom? Eu coloquei no, but I used to. Então aqui, ó, I used to teach in the classroom versus, vou botar um versus grande aqui, ó, versus I taught in the classroom. I taught in the classroom. Esse I taught in the classroom não é comum. Não é comum. Alright? Você pode dizer I taught in the classroom. I taught in the classroom when I went to school in 1998. No problem. Okay? It's 1 point in the past. Okay? 1 point in the past. All right. Então agora eu vou fazer a pergunta, mas você vai olhar para a original story. All right? Okay? Good. So, agora você vai olhar para mim ou olhar para a história e vai responder. All right? You're going to look at me and say, yes, he was, no, he wasn't, yes, he did, no, he didn't. Okay? Good. So here we go. 10 years ago. Now, agora eu vou mudar, né? O que você acha? Let's switch to when he was 16. Okay? Because we're going to talk about Jeremy anyway. Right? When Jeremy was 16 years old, did he live in Des Moines, Washington? Yes or no? Yes, he did. Did Jeremy live in New York when he was 16 years old? Yes or no? No, he didn't. Where did Jeremy live when he was 16 years old? In Des Moines, Washington. Very good. Very good. When Jeremy was 16 years old, did he live with his family? Yes or no? Yes, he did. When Jeremy was 16 years old, did he used to live alone? Yes or no? No, he didn't. So who did Jeremy used to live with when he was 16 years old? He lived with his family, or he used to live with his family, right? Now, when Jeremy was 16 years old, did the Thompson family live in a house close to the sea? Yes. Did the Thompson family live in an apartment downtown when Jeremy was 16 years old? No, they didn't. So where did the family live when Jeremy was 16 years old? In a nice house close to the sea, in a house very close to the sea. When Jeremy was 16, what did he do? When Jeremy was 16, what did he do? Pausa agora para eu explicar uma coisa muito importante. Aqui você está lendo Jeremy was a student. Vai ser muito comum você querer fazer a seguinte pergunta: What was Jeremy? And that's not the correct question. What did Jeremy do when he was 16 years old? When he was 16 years old, he was a student. What did Steve, his father, do when Jeremy was 16? He was an entrepreneur. What did Anna, his mother, do when Jeremy was 16 years old? She was a yoga instructor. What grade was Jeremy in when he was 16 years old? He was a sophomore. What school did he go to when he was 16 years old? To Mount Rainier High School. All right. What did Jeremy like doing when he was 16 years old? What did he like doing when he was 16 years old? Aí não muda nada. A resposta pode ser going to the movies, riding his bike, and playing the guitar. If you want to say it all, He liked playing the guitar. He liked riding his bike around town. And he liked going to the movies, or enjoyed, if you will, right? What was Jeremy's favorite thing in the world? What was Jeremy's favorite thing in the world? Ice cream. His favorite thing in the world was ice cream. All right. Now, what time did Jeremy used to get up when he was 16 years old? At 6. He used to get up at 6. Right? What else did he used to do after he got up? He used to get dressed. He used to have some breakfast. How? Pay attention to this question. How did Jeremy used to get to school? How did he used to get to school when he was 16 years old and he was living in Des Moines and he was going to Mount Rainier High School? How did he get to school after breakfast? He used to take the bus. He used to take the school bus. Right? Good. Until what time or how late did Jeremy used to stay at school? How late did he used to stay at school? Until 5. Until what time did Jeremy used to stay at school? Until 5. Why? Why did Jeremy used to stay at school until 5? Because he used to have practice. Basketball practice. Leo, can I say because he had to? No problem. Você vai... Olha só, o uso desse used to no nosso atual estágio de treinamento não é compulsório, não é obrigatório. You are going to build this practice as comfortable as you can be, right? So, how did Jeremy used to go home after practice? His sister used to pick him up at school. Very good. That's it. So now let's go back here. Let's go back here and take a look at the transformation. 10 years ago, Jeremy was a boy who lived in Des Moines. Questions? Qualquer question pode ser. Was Jeremy a boy? Did Jeremy live in Des Moines? Second one here. 10 years ago, he was 16 and he lived in a nice house with his family. Você pode colocar do jeito que você quiser. Você pode perguntar, por exemplo, where did he live 10 years ago? Você pode perguntar, who did Jeremy live with 10 years ago? Right? The Thompsons lived in a house close to the sea. Pode variar do jeito que você quiser, desde que você pratique the question in the past. So, for example, vou colocar uma bem diferente aqui, ó. What kind of house did the Thompsons live 10 years ago? What kind of house did the Thompsons live 10 years ago? Okay? Questions? Okay. Always in front of a question I can repeat to do when I answer. Always no. Always no. Ok? Isso aí nas nossas aulas, nas nossas aulas de gramática aqui no VIP, você vai poder entender como é que é a construção gramatical de uma pergunta. But no, o Lyndon Johnson, no, don't worry, não se preocupe com aquilo que você é obrigado a dizer ao responder. Preocupe-se com o que você deve responder. Então, por exemplo, was Jeremy a boy 10 years ago? Yes. Pronto. Yes. He was a boy. Pronto, faz isso. He was a boy. Não fica tentando imaginar que existe uma palavra mágica, obrigatória, que você deve dizer toda vez que alguém te faz uma pergunta. Don't do that. Ok? Se você sabe a resposta, e a resposta foi yes, diga yes. Se você quiser dar a resposta curta e a completa, no problem. Yes, he was a boy. Did Jeremy live in Des Moines 10 years ago? Yes. He lived in Des Moines. Ah, mas é certo falar yes, he did? Sim, mas se você ainda não está confortável, você vai perceber quando eu tô te dando a resposta novamente. Aí você fala, pô, vou fazer igual o Léo tá fazendo. Yes, he did. E na hora que você vê eu respondendo de uma outra forma, por exemplo, yes, he does, você vai procurar saber, uai, por que em um determinado momento ele falou yes, he did, e no outro ele falou yes, he does? Aí que você vai pesquisando, alright? Não invente regras que não existam. Alright? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. 10 years ago, Jeremy was a student. Então, agora sabe o que a gente pode fazer? Qual que é a question? Aqui, eu vou dar essa para vocês. Eu vou dar, mas depois vou apagar. What did Jeremy do? Ten years ago. Ainda pode colocar assim, what did Jeremy do for a living? What did Jeremy do for a living? Right? Ok. Questions antes da última atividade? Nope. Okay. Last activity. Last activity. I am going to ask questions. And you are going to answer. Eu não vou dar a resposta. Mas aproveite este áudio para você depois completar este exercício no seu PDF. Ok? Are you ready? Todo mundo pronto aí? Here we go. What kind of boy was Jeremy 10 years ago? Where did Jeremy live 10 years ago? Who did Jeremy live with 10 years ago? What did Jeremy's father do? What did Jeremy's mother do? Where did Jeremy go to school 10 years ago? Where did Jeremy go to school 10 years ago? What grade was Jeremy in 10 years ago? What sports did Jeremy like? Did Jeremy practice in the basketball team at school? What did Jeremy like doing 10 years ago? What was Jeremy's favorite thing in the world 10 years ago? What time did Jeremy used to get up 10 years ago? What time did school start? What time did school start 10 years ago? How late or until what time did Jeremy used to stay at school? How did Jeremy get home after school? All right. Okay. Whew. A lot of practice, huh? A lot of practice. Guys, this was the practice for the verb tense past simple. In our next lesson, we're going to practice a little bit more complicated verb tenses. Did you notice how simple this practice can be? Observe o como, independente do tanto que você sabe, independente do seu nível de inglês, você será capaz de, sem precisar de ter uma aula sobre gramática no passado, conseguir contar essa história do Jeremy usando 10 years ago. E você pode usar 10 years ago, when he was 16, 5 years ago, a long time ago. Você pode usar o tempo que você quiser, o período para trás que você quiser. Right? Já estou me gozando com o meu all right aí. Então, qual que é o importante agora? É você baixar o áudio, baixe o áudio desta aula e pratique com o áudio. Alright? 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 Okay, guys, any questions? We are getting to the end. We're getting to the end of this wonderful lesson. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for this lesson. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next class sharp. All right? Have a wonderful carnival. I won't be around here during carnival. What are you going to do for carnival? Let me know, ok? Let me know. E na próxima aula, eu vou querer que você me diga how your carnival was. All right? Você é do tipo temperança ou é do tipo pé na jaca? Escreva aí, porque agora nós estamos entrando no carnaval e nós vamos fazer uma enquete. O que ganha mais? Fazer igual o povo lá da rádio. Pé na jaca ou temperança? You let me know. All right? Aninha, thank you so much. Quer aparecer? Aparece aí, Aninha. Say goodbye to everybody. There you go. Let me hear. Let me hear here. Okay. All right. Aninha, thank you so much. Did you enjoy the class?
Excelente aula, como sempre.
Gostou?
Muito boa.
Aprendeu alguma coisa?
Com certeza.
Thank you so much, my darling, and we'll talk along the week. And guys, thank you so much. Dá tchauzinho aí, Aninha.
Tchauzinho, gente.
And goodbye. Bye-bye.